we went across the state, there were so many people who really had no idea how children were doing in the public schools. No idea. Because when they listened to the statewide data, they thought in terms of, okay, my school system is doing okay. The state is doing okay. Because they were looking at the data all lumped together. So when I went across the state over those 2 years, one of the things that I did was, if I went into a community, I went into a community with the data specific to that community. I took with me the data on their academic performance, the data on their suspension rates, the data on their dropout rates, the data on their graduation rates. When we did that and took that to a specific community, all of a sudden, people began to realize, you know what? We got some issues. We got some issues. I even one time met with the members of the local boards of education. We had just finished presenting to the State Board of Education something called the dropout report, the suspension report. It was all in a nice document. When we presented that report to the State Board, it then goes to the General Assembly because it's required by law. About a week or so later, I met with school board members in Greensboro at the Grandover Hotel. And I took with me that book. I gave it to them. And I said to those local board members, find your school system in this document. They were all sitting at their little tables. They took the document, they opened it up, and they found their school system. And here's what I heard. And I said to them, not a single one of you all need to be sucking the air out of the room. Because this document was presented to the State Board of Education. It's gone to the General Assembly. So why don't you know how your children are doing? Now, I said that back then when I worked for the state. I no longer work for the state. So I'm not mincing my words anywhere I go. Here's the challenge. The challenge is people are not looking at the data. And we are fooling ourselves. Last week, I went to the General Baptist State Convention. You all know the General Baptist State Convention. All the black churches around the state. I took a document with me. I put it in their hands. I showed them the data for African American children in this state. I showed them that we have dropouts, where we have 8,000 dropouts of black children in this state. 8,000. There are only about 22,000 altogether. We have 8,000 of those. Short-term suspensions, 171,000 black children suspended from school. I showed them the academic performance data. That in grades 3 through 8, 43% of black children are on grade level, 43% compared to 76% white, 48% Hispanic. I showed them for the 5 courses that children are now going to have to be at grade level to get a diploma. If they are seniors in high school, they're going to have to be at grade level to get a diploma. Algebra 1, only 49% of black children. Biology, 52% of black children. Civics and economics, 53%. English 1, 58. U.S. history, 53. Those data are staggering. The Baptist Convention has as a theme to convince the unconvinced to be convinced. And I said to them, and if any of y'all are in here over there, you know I said it. If those data don't convince you to So I'm not missing my words, folks. I'm not playing games. Because I believe that Dr. Super and I agree, we've got to be positive. You've got to highlight where children are doing well. But we can't fool ourselves and pretend like all is well. Because it ain't. And so I'm so glad that we have in this conference, this round table, and I am looking forward to engaging with some conversation with you and some things that I think we can do to address